All right, well, this is Chris Williams. He is actually the first inspector that I met years ago when I did my first home inspection, first home I ever got under contract. And that was actually when I was doing real estate part-time. He pretty much told me his story, convinced me to go into real estate full-time, and it's been great ever since. And he's also been a huge resource for my clients. He's pointing out things that we wouldn't have found out if we hadn't have done inspections. So with that being said, Chris, if you want to take it away, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there, man.
Hello. Forgive me for not having the video on. I'm driving right now, so I got the phone on the mount. But yeah, so I am Chris Williams. Been doing home inspections since about 2015. I started out in the industry with the big firm, Home Inspection Carolina. And then once I got pretty busy, I went out on my own. Been doing this for about 3 years, and I love it for the most part.
Oh yeah. So Chris,
But,
what? Oh, good.
All right, go ahead. I was going to ask if anybody had any questions about anything.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask, because a lot of times they're newer agents. When I was new, I didn't even know anything about a pre-drywall inspection until my mentor called me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this pre-drywall?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever it is, I'll go." Can you kind of tell us about the different type of inspections and maybe the different type of tests that you can do on a home and why that's important?
Got you. So the main two inspections are going to be the home inspection and then the pre-drywall inspection, which kind of covers the structure. Pre-drywall is more so for only for the new construction inspections. We don't consider that an auxiliary inspection, meaning like a termite or radon. Those are very important no matter what. Like even whoever you use, you always want to get some kind of inspection done, even on new construction, simply because you never know what's going on. Nobody's perfect. And our job is kind of to see how every trade relates to each other. And the way I like to describe it is we're like relationship specialists for the different trades, meaning a framer could come in and frame the house and do a great job at it. Step back, say, I did an excellent job. The electrician comes behind the framer and says, hey, this board's in my way. I need to remove this board and put my plug up. He looks back, his plug's doing a good job. He's happy, but he damaged the frame. The framer does not know he needs to go back out to check it. So if we don't get an inspection done after that, we're thinking everything's done right. There's lots of times where the trades do their job the right way, but they damage another trade's work. And that's why pre-drywalls are important. The general home inspection, you got to know what you're getting yourself into, right? We all seen that movie a long time ago called The Money Pit, where you just jump into something and things start to come up, right? Things that can really alter the decision if you're going to purchase the house or not. So that's why it's always a great idea to get one of those, just so you know what you're putting yourself into. I'm quite sure you guys all know that North Carolina is an as-is state, meaning whatever it is where you sign on, that's what you're going to get. So you want to know exactly what you're getting before you actually jump down there.
I like it. And then I know we've done a decent amount of home inspections together. What is something, because I mean, I know when I look at new construction, or especially if it's been sold after like 2 years, I found different issues. What's the worst issue you found on a newly built home? And the reason why I ask this is just to encourage people to encourage their clients even more to get home inspections, because it is very important. So what's the worst thing you've ever seen?
So the worst things I find on new construction are always not always, but most of the time going to be during a pre-drywall phase. This is where loads are not supported properly, meaning I have a beam that supports a heavy load that's upstairs, and I go downstairs and the post that supports that beam is not there. You can actually start seeing some of the wood sag and crack where the pressure's bending on it because there's nothing for it to sit on. Those are things that will be hidden once the drywall goes up. You won't notice it until like years of use of it settling. Now, inside of finished new construction, man, you find some of everything, right? Just about almost as much stuff as you would find inside of an existing home. You'll find leaks under sinks where they're not sealed properly. You'll find improperly wired outlets or light switches where they're not controlling anything. I've had issues where the light was stuck on because they didn't have the switch, or they drywalled over the switch. I had issues where the AC didn't work, even though it's brand new. Had a leak in the line because one of the drywallers shot a nail through the line. Like, you find some of everything inside of new construction. A lot of times people think, or they opt out of the inspection for the new construction because it's new. These houses are not built in factories. They're built by humans just like me and you. And we all make mistakes, and then we all go behind each other, not understanding what the other person has done and mess it up that way.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. I'm Cece. I am actually in Baltimore, Maryland. My mentor, Anisha Berkeley, suggested that I do this boot camp, or she actually put it in her team messages, and I decided to partake. So thank you all for this information. I appreciate it.
No
so
problem.
I just bought a home, and I settled in September, moved in October. About a month and a half ago, my wife got out of the shower and she heard water downstairs, and she came downstairs and it was raining in our living room. This is brand new construction, brand new home. What happened was they did not support the drain like they were supposed to, and the pipe pretty much dropped out from the master bathroom shower. So would that have been discovered in this pre-drywall inspection that you're speaking of?
So this was a new house that you bought?
Brand new house, yes. New construction.
New construction, and then when you use it, explain to me what happened to the pipe again, one more time.
So she took a shower, and then she came downstairs, and because she heard water, and it was raining in the living room. It was coming from the master bedroom shower. The drain had dropped out. The drain pipe had dropped out from underneath the shower because they didn't put a support on it to hold it in place.
Got you.
So that would have been like, if we had done an inspection, would that have possibly been found? It would have had to have been the pre-drywall inspection that you're speaking of?
Yes, ma'am. So in the pre-drywall inspection, we would have noticed that the pipes weren't supported properly or strapped properly. During the pre-drywall, there is no water being ran, but typically, depending on, I'm not sure how it is in Baltimore or up north, but here during the pre-drywall, all the pipes should be under pressure, meaning they should have filled them up with water to test for leaks. Now, now the only difference between pre-drywall and what might have happened in your situation is that the tubs are not fully installed yet in pre-drywall. Like the bases are, but everything else is not. Right, the drain caps are not put in there. So if they didn't do that during the final, that definitely should have been found on the final inspection, though. Like run a lot of water in the showers, and see if any water comes through. Did you guys have a final inspection?
CC, did y'all have a final inspection on that one?
Oh, sorry, I hit the mute button.
Oh, you good.
No, we didn't have any kind of inspections done. We did the walkthrough with the foreman, the construction foreman. We did a walkthrough. We ran water in the kitchen, but we didn't run water anywhere else. And that was just I don't even know why we did that. I can't remember. But we didn't run water. We didn't run water anywhere else. But it wouldn't have been discovered then because like I said, we moved in October. This just happened about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, after taking shower after shower for months.
Gotcha. So even though that part might not have been found on the final, but in the pre-drywall, there would have been signs, right? So even though it happened all at one time, there's probably signs and symptoms of it happening earlier on. So what I like to do inside of a bathroom is I run all the fixtures at the same time. I stop the sink up, fill it all the way up to that overflow drain, flush the toilet, and run the showers. And I drain everything at the same time to put a lot of pressure on the pipes. And most inspectors should walk inside the shower before they start it up to make sure the shower pan itself is supported. And that could have discharged some of the drain pipes. And we didn't notice a little bit of leaking. Maybe it might not have been as much as you saw at that point, but probably would have caught a little bit of it. At least, hey, he noticed some movement happening, or it's not secure, or the handles are loose, or something like that he could have probably picked up on if that inspection was done. Right?
Okay, that's good to know.
But yeah, no matter what, you always want to get an inspection again, because remember, a brand new house is not like a brand new car. A brand new car is built by robots in the factory. Everything's engineered perfectly. With the market the way it is, I'm quite sure all you guys know how crazy the market is and how many houses are being built. I'm not sure how it is up north, but down here it's like almost, I have no idea how they're doing so many houses at one time. Just because the houses are popping up does not mean there's an influx of qualified workers to work on those houses, right? So the more houses people build, the more people they got to try to find to fill in the gaps. And that's what I'm finding more and more issues with new construction pre-drywalls, because there are a lot of people who are just kind of figuring it out as they're going. It doesn't matter the price point neither. I mean, I've done $1 million home pre-drywalls, and well, there are no more $100,000 home pre-drywalls, but all the way down to like $400,000 home pre-drywalls. And they're very similar. You can tell the quality is, it's not necessarily the quality, but you can tell that they're not the craftsmanship, and then a lot of people are not knowing what to do right.
That makes sense.
So,
And then, oh, go ahead.
So I have a quick question, because I have two that are under contract, new construction. Are you suggesting, because I got in the meeting a little late, are you suggesting that we have an inspection, a pre-drywall inspection, and then one at the end? So 2 inspections?
Yeah, so that's the most common with the new construction is the pre-drywall and the final. The pre-drywall, again, is to see all the things that you will not be able to see once those walls go up. So for example, I did a townhouse recently where the trusses were broken. And you can tell that the people on site, like the workers, tried to fix it themselves. And the way you fix a truss is a very specific way, and you have to have an engineer's letter to boot when you close on the house. You want to get that engineer's letter so it transfers with the house. If the next day that it came and put the insulation in, nobody would have been able to see it. Neither myself or another inspector or anybody, because the insulation would have covered it, the drywall would have covered it, and then you had broken trusses inside of your home. Over time, those loads move and it causes more damage. So it is always good to get those things. And if you ever had a client who's like had a new construction and said, I get a lot of insects inside of my house, or it's drafty by the fireplace because there's a hole at the foundation that you can't see when the siding's up, all those things get picked up on during a pre-drywall.
Gotcha. And is the price different when you're doing that first inspection?
So I can only speak for myself. My prices are a lot cheaper for pre-drywall, and we call it what's called a phase inspection, meaning we do the pre-drywall, the final, and then the 1 year. So just from my company, the pre-drywall, again, everything's based off the square footage. And if you do the pre-drywall, you pay that at full price, maybe like $175, $200, something like that, average. The full inspection, you get a discount for doing a pre-drywall and being new construction, right? So for me, we give $70 off for the full inspection for that final one. And then if the client decides to do the 11-month inspection for the 1 year warranty, then that would be half off for that phase. Now, I do know some who charge full price, and that's simply because of they more so charge by the time slot versus actual work. But a pre-drywall, in most cases, is going to be a lot less invasive than a full inspection.
Gotcha. And so the prices, so inspectors price differently. It could be by hour or by project, not by the size of a home.
Yeah, I mean, so they have different inspectors do different things. Generally, it's by the price, the square footage of the home, but some might charge extra if it's a crawl space, or they might charge extra. Like I charge extra if it's built before 1950. The reason why a lot of home inspectors charge, like I've heard, charge full price for that house is simply because during that time slot where, let's say I'm doing a pre-drywall, it takes me an hour to do it, right? And it's $200. I cannot schedule a full inspection where I would get $400 or $500 for it in that spot, because that hour is eating into that time slot. And I can't do a full inspection in 2 hours, and we have another inspection after that. So because it takes up that time slot, they still like, hey, I'm gonna charge a full price.
I see. Gotcha. So then it's recommended to have 3: the the after, and then 11 month. Highly
So I'm
recommended.
gonna highly recommend 2. The 11-month is kind of up to you, right? It's more of a peace of mind thing. We do offer it because when the builder comes and says, "Hey, give me all your issues. We're gonna fix everything in the first year, and after that, everything's gonna be out of warranty. You got to do it on your own." You kind of might want to get somebody in to look at it. That's up to you, right? You lived in the house for a year. You see the nail pops. You say, "Hey, my AC is not cooling like it should. It's kind of warm. The stove cuts on and off, or whatever." You kind of know a couple of issues after you lived in the house for a year that you can bring to the builder, but not to like take away business for myself. The 11-month inspection is generally really easy for the most part. The most common big issue I find in an 11-month inspection is like there's something going on with the HVAC system, leaking because it didn't go inside there, or leaking the crawl space because it didn't go inside there. 90% of everything else I find in an 11-month inspection is something the homeowner did while they were there.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, and then another question for you. So I know you inspect homes. Should the homeowner be there while you're inspecting the home? Should they come at the end? What is your personal or professional opinion on that?
Got you. So no homeowners up here, right? It's all agents.
Just agents here.
Got you. So realistically, what I prefer is that the client comes towards the end of the inspection, right? And most inspectors will prefer this as well, simply because we all follow a process, so we don't miss anything. We try to go by a pattern, and homeowners typically like to try to get you off of that pattern. And once you do it for a while, you can do that, but it does make the process a lot longer, right? So let's say you're starting left or right, going around the home, looking at the siding and foundation only, look at the roof at the second go around, look at the soffits and fascias on the third go around. If I'm looking at the siding on one side and the homeowner's like, "Hey, could you come look at this real quick?" That means I have to stop where I am, go to where that homeowner is, look at something that I'm probably going to find in like 2 minutes, and then answer his question right then and there. Or the homeowner might ask a question that doesn't really pertain to, let's say, the scope of the home inspection, meaning these oil stains that are coming from the driveway, are they easy to get up? Has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing, but it stops me from actually focusing on what I'm trying to do. And just like anybody else doing your job, you don't want somebody over your shoulder the whole time kind of looking at you, because it does get kind of distracting and it does make you miss things. And you don't want to skip over something. Now, I always encourage my clients to come, because at the end, I like to do a thorough review with the clients, because most of you guys know the inspection reports are all scary, right? Everything says it's going to die tomorrow, get a contractor engineer out here, something like that. And I like to explain things in detail, what it really means and why we have to say the engineer and contractor thing, right? Because we have to per the state. And I always like to say, hey, look, even if the light bulb's out, I have to say licensed general contractor. That inspection report is going to be long and it's going to be scary. I want you to read the whole thing, a lot of good information, focus on the summary, because it's going to say what's wrong, why you should fix it, who to go to fix it, right? I always get the same question, is this a big deal or not? I like to answer those questions to the best of my ability. It's really up to the homeowner if it's a big deal, meaning, let's say there's an electrical issue, might be a big deal to me, but if your husband's an electrician, it's not a big deal. But so I do encourage them to come at the end just so they can talk to me, get a feel of it, and not just get a lot of information pushed down their throat with the report. But coming during the beginning does distract and prolong the inspection. Perfect example, this morning, which is why I was late to the call, because there were new home buyers and they wanted to follow me around. Again, I obliged, but it does take a lot longer.
I understand that. Yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious, because I've always been taught, try to have everybody come towards the end for those reasons. But I just wanted, your opinion just to make sure. And then I guess
correct.
Another question for you, because we're all agents, and obviously, for people buying homes as well, a lot of people have to put down a decent amount of due diligence to get under contract on a home. And obviously, we can't have an inspector like yourself with us for every single home. What are some key things that we can look for with the naked eye, or things like that, that might be important for us to pay attention to?
Excellent question. I get this more often than not when people ask me to go out to view a house with them. Like that doesn't make any sense. I can't. You're not going to pay that for that. Anyhow, if you're getting an older home or pre-existing home, depending on the foundation type, first know the foundation type. It's a crawl space, slab, or basement, right? Issues with let's say a slab or a basement, you want to look for cracking anywhere. Cracking in the exterior siding, cracking above doors and windows on the inside of the home, that the doors are open and closing good. Not ask you to open every window, right? Smell. Does it smell like mildew? Do you smell see any kind of spots on the walls, look up under where the bathrooms are, right? The bathrooms and kitchens or sinks, if you can look under it on a different floor, look in those areas of the ceiling. Don't focus so much on the granite and the nice fixtures and a nice clawfoot tub and things of that nature. Just kind of look to see if you notice anything out of the ordinary. Crawl spaces, when you're walking on the floors, is it saggy? Is it springing? Right? Do you get a weird smell from that? Just crack open the crawl space door just to get a peek. You don't have to go in there, but you get a good vibe of the crawl space if it's really wet or dry just by opening the door and looking in it. Is it muddy? Is there plastic on the ground? Is there water right there in my face? Those things typically mean that there's going to be bigger issues down the line, right? A lot of times people like to ignore those things and they really just focus on the cosmetic stuff, which most inspectors don't even care about, like the type of countertops that you have, the tile, and all this good stuff. But yeah, the flooring, make sure it's not springy. The smell of the home, outside of like smoke or dogs or animals, moisture. You want to smell that. And look for any kind of cracks in the home. Is the chimney like it's leaning a little bit? How well are they taking care of the house? If they're not taking care of the inside of the house just by how clean they are, they're probably not taking care of the big things neither. So that would be my advice if you're just going to view a house and kind of look around and check.
No, that makes sense. Thank you. And then the last question for you, and then I'll open it up for more questions if anybody else has anything. I know at the end of our inspections, you always tell my clients a great advice. I forgot the rule that it is, but it's basically about, you said what?
It's the 110-100 rule.
Yes, if you can go over that real quick, if you don't mind.
So the 110-100 rule is a rule I came up with based off of an old business principle. Basically, it means, I just kind of flipped it to make it mean, if you fix something now, it'll cost you $1 to fix. If you wait a while to fix it, it'll cost you $10. If you wait a long time to fix it, it'll cost you $100. So it's always a great idea to get things fixed as soon as they go awry to prevent them from becoming big things. The best examples I always give is if me and you guys can get a brand new car, same type, same model, same year, same brand, from the exact same dealership at the exact same time. We leave off the lot, go our separate ways. 50,000 miles later, my engine's blown, yours is still good, simply because I never got an oil change. So long story short, if you take care of the home, it'll take care of you. So if you got a leak, fix it right away. Don't put a bucket underneath it, let it sit for a while. Don't wait for the wood to rot. Then next thing you know, you got mold growth, wood rot, and the leak. Have somebody come check out your crawl spaces if you don't want to go down there and make sure nothing's leaking there. Crawl spaces are one of the biggest issues as cost-wise, of issues inside of a home. And an issue that happens is that when things go wrong in a crawl space, nobody knows until it affects you inside of the house. And by that time, it's probably thousands of dollars in a crawl space of damage. So have somebody check that like once a year. Get your HVAC service twice a year when you switch from AC to heat. Things like that nature, little maintenance tip like that, just so you're not waiting till things become the worst possible scenario before you address it.
Makes sense. Appreciate that. Anybody have any questions for Chris or anything like that before I let him go?
Chris, quick question. In terms of kind of services that you offer, do you offer kind of what I've been calling a walk and talk? Like when we're looking a buyer client, when we're going and looking at a home, do you offer a service where you join us on that showing and kind of look at material items with us, not a full inspection or just a half inspection, but you've got better eyes than we do as realtors and as they do as clients. Like say for $150, do you kind of, walk around with us and look under that crawl space and do just a quick eye and say, oh yeah, you need to pay attention to that crack when you're thinking of putting in an offer to purchase?
I have done that, a walk and talk with a couple of clients before, but the thing is they had me for the whole day, right? So again, some inspectors might, but I'm pretty busy, like booked throughout the week. So the thing is, you got to remember, if I do that walk and talk, it's going to take at least an hour drive time there, do the inspection with you guys, drive time back, and that's going to take a slot of a full inspection. And most inspectors are not going to be like, hey, I do, for 400, I'll do this for like 80 and not be able to get the 400. Now, what I have done more commonly is some of the agents that use me on a regular, they will call me or FaceTime me and say, hey, what do you think of this? And I say, hey, show me here, show me here, show me here. And this is what I think of it really quickly. I've looked inside of crawl spaces with phones. I looked at cracks with phones. I looked at brick with phones. I've done that several times. I can give you a quick synopsis real quick. That's a lot easier to do. So I have done that. I haven't charged for it, but I might need to start.
Don't charge me for that because I do that. Don't do that. Appreciate it though.
And contact information, where can we find you?
So you can find me everywhere. So the website is cwillinspect.com. That's CWILLINSPECT.com. You can do online scheduling there. Makes it really simple and easy for the clients and customers. Offer just about every service you can think of with the exception of septic. So radon, termite, infrared, thermal, gas detection, carbon monoxide, pool inspections, all the things we offer, just except for septic. Also, if you schedule online, I give a $25 discount because it actually helps me out with all that input and information. Also, Instagram, I like to post a little funny stuff up there every now and again at CWillInspect at Instagram. Same thing with Facebook. And phone number is 704-604-8241.
I just put that in the chat for everybody.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, Chris, I greatly appreciate you joining us. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us. Any more questions for Chris before we go ahead and head on off?
Yeah, sorry, one last one. Are you both in
it.
North Carolina and South Carolina?
I am licensed in both North and South Carolina.
Yeah, and he's amazing. Awesome. Well, I won't hold us anymore. Thank you, everybody. And tomorrow we have a lender, and Friday we have a real estate coach. So I'll see y'all then.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.